We're joined by Ian Kirk, and we've got Dr. Rodney King with us as well. And Ian, I'm going to come to you first about this because I am very much intrigued by what you do. I did actually attend Mindful Mann last year, and I managed to do the breathing technique for this Wim Hoff method that you talk about. But there are 3 pillars to it, and I think one of the things that people are probably most excited about or terrified about is the fact you make people get in baths of ice. Why?
That's correct, yes.
Wouldn't be bad today, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, on a lovely day like today, and it will be sunny on Saturday as well. So yes, but the cold is, as Wim would say, is a doorway to the soul. Not only that, the science is now coming out that by going into the cold, willfully going into that stressful environment, which the cold is, we can take back control of our breathing, and our breathing then we can control our stress response. Not only that, the body starts to produce, when we go into the cold, more norepinephrine, now by 200 to 300%. Now norepinephrine is a hormone and a neurotransmitter that is related to anti-inflammation. Now inflammation in the brain also will inhibit serotonin release, which is a happy neurotransmitter. So when we go into the cold, we're actually forcing our body to adapt to this stressful environment, take control back of the stress response, and release loads of happy hormones. So
see, that's funny because it's the last thing you'd think, wouldn't it? The idea of actually getting into a bath of ice that you go, hey, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Which I suppose you would have quite an extreme reaction, which sort of makes sense. But it feels like it is all about, having done the sort of breath work with you last year, it does feel like it's about almost taking you to a different level, because it felt, I mean, I don't know, I had colours going on and all kinds of things.
yes, colour's good. Colour's good. That's you accessing your autonomic nervous system and things like that. So we can actually take back control and influence our autonomic nervous system, which is obviously meant to be autonomic, but obviously we're proving that we can actually influence that. We can go into the inflammation proteins and things like that as well. So it's anti-inflammatory. For the respiratory system, it's fantastic. We're simulating high altitude training, so anyone who's an athlete or something like that is fantastic for that. We're forcing the body to make adaptations to low levels of oxygen and then high levels of CO2, or low levels of CO2 and the opposite way around. So
How did you first come by the Wim Hof Method?
it was actually a friend's father introduced me to the Wim Hof Method. I was already kind of on a path of learning about health and nutrition from being sick. So it took me many years of looking into diet and nutrition and things like that, fasting and other things. And then this one friend's father told me about the Wim Hof Method. And I was somebody who hated the cold. You wouldn't find me going in the New Year's dip in the sea. There's no way I'd be the one there in the hat and the coat and the scarf, looking at everyone thinking they were crazy. But through seeing my friend's father and his struggle with cancer that he was battling at the time, it kind of forced me to go past my limitations. And so I thought, conquer my fears and go straight into the deep end and go to Poland and do the Wim Hof Method winter expedition in the height of winter, and climb a mountain in my shorts in the snow. As you do, yeah.
Sounds like a job for you, that, Christy.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. But so on Saturday then, obviously you'll be giving talk about this. Will there be practicals? Are you going to get people in ice baths on Saturday?
Yes, for all those brave enough and who are willing to do so. The cold is always optional, but we will be putting some people into cold water if they want to do that and feel the power of it. And also the breath work, we'll be doing that beforehand. So the breath work actually primes the body ready for the cold, because we can actually get into the pain receptors. This is fantastic for pain management and all kinds of other amazing benefits.
Fabulous. And I was looking at the pages, Ian's pages before, and he's got these fabulous inflatable baths that you can get in. And it really is blocks of ice. I mean, we're talking proper. You've got to get through these cubes to sit in this thing. So it's going to be cold, Howard.
That does sound very much on the cold side. Not something I don't know of. I've never experienced it myself. Has there been an increase, do you think, in interest in things like the Wim Hof Method on the island over recent years?
I definitely believe so now with what's been going on in the world. People are now starting to look at alternative therapies. The Wim Hof Method is amazing for the immune system. We actually boost the immune system and suppress pro-inflammatory markers. So therefore, anyone who's suffering with some kind of ailment, this can really help with, especially things like arthritis. any vascular problems, things like that, respiratory issues, in a time when where people have worried about the COVID-19. It's fantastic. I mean, Wim Hof himself got injected with the E. coli virus, or bacteria, sorry, in a hospital setting, and managed to not get any symptoms of any sickness just by doing the breathing technique. So not only that, it wasn't just Wim, but he trained 12 other people to do the same, and they all did the same within 4 days of the training. So this is the power that we have through the breathing and our own body's defense systems, really.